It's Premier League match day as high-flying Chelsea host informed Sunderland at Stamford Bridge. Can Chelsea continue their total dominance and maintain their momentum, or will the Black Cats pull a shock at Stamford Bridge? In this video, I'll bring you the preview between Chelsea versus Sunderland, team news, predicted lineup, tactical analysis, and score predictions. So sit tight as I take you through the preview between Chelsea versus Sunderland in game week 9 of the English Premier League. Currently, the EPL standing, Chelsea sits 5th in the EPL standing and Sunderland as 7th on the standing. Only goal difference separates Chelsea and Sunderland from the Premier League standing, as Chelsea currently are on 14 points and Sunderland also are on 14 points, with goal difference of +7 and +3 separating both sides. Coming into this game, Chelsea are coming from the back of 4 straight wins in all competition, 2 in the UEFA Champions League and 2 in the Premier League. In the UEFA Champions League, late September, Chelsea defeated Jose Mourinho Benfica by 1-0, and in the Premier League the following weekend, Chelsea defeated Liverpool by 2-1 before the international break. And after the international break, Chelsea defeated Nottingham Forest at the City Ground by 3-0 that led to the sacking of Ange Postecoglou. And in the midweek, Chelsea defeated Ajax by 5-1 in the UEFA Champions League. And Sunderland, in the other hand, have been in a very good form. In their last 6 games, Sunderland have only lost a game, won 3 and drew 2. Their loss came against Manchester United in the English Premier League game week 7. So Sunderland, coming into this game, one of the newly promoted side, have not been a right over in the Premier League so far. Haven't played 8 games. Same like Chelsea, they have won 4, drew 2 and lost just 2. So coming into this game, Sunderland will be coming with full confidence to Stamford Bridge, but then it's left to see whether Chelsea will continue their total dominance over the Black Cat. So previous meeting between those two sides, between Chelsea versus Sunderland, the last time Sunderland visited Stamford Bridge was in 2017 as Chelsea defeated Sunderland by 5-1. That was in May 2017, and which led to their relegation from the English top flight football that season. And ever since then, Sunderland have been struggling. In 2017, they were relegated with 24 points after 38 games. But coming into this season, fast forward 8 years later, in Premier League 2025-2026 EPL season, Sunderland, after 8 games, are 14 points. 10 points shy away from what relegated them in 2017 to the Championship. Sunderland currently, after gaining promotion to the Premier League after a long while, because after they got relegated in 2017 to play in the EFL Championship, the second tier of English football, they got relegated from Championship to League One, and they have been struggling in League One for a couple of years until 2021-2022 season, where they got promoted back into the Championship. And in 2024-2025 season, they were promoted to the Premier League through playoff. After semi-final games, they defeated Sheffield United at Wembley to secure the top spot into the Premier League this season. And so far, they had a couple of decent signings in the transfer window, bringing in an all-experienced Granit Xhaka, who was formerly one of the key midfielders for Arsenal Football Club, left Arsenal to play in the German Bundesliga in Bayer Leverkusen, and after a couple of seasons, having won the Bundesliga with Bayer Leverkusen, after Xabi Alonso left there, Sunderland went for the signature of Granit Xhaka, and Granit Xhaka came to Sunderland and have been the team captain, and so far has been leading the team very, very well. But going into this game, head-to-head meeting between Chelsea versus Sunderland, in the last 6 games, I've seen Chelsea won 4 and Sunderland won just 1, and once they have had a draw. The last time Sunderland defeated Chelsea at Stamford Bridge was in April 2014, 11 years ago. But Sunderland wants to break that record. In this game, we're going to see the tactical analysis of how Sunderland is going to approach the game against Chelsea. But then Chelsea, high flying so far, total dominance in the last 4 matches, both in the UEFA Champions League and in the Premier League, have been in good run of form prior to this particular encounter. Last weekend, Chelsea cruised past Nottingham Forest 3-0 in game week 8, while Sunderland, on the other hand, was 2-0 better off struggling Wolves, and they picked all 3 points coming into this game full of confidence. Enzo Maresca had his press conference yesterday prior to this particular encounter, and a couple of questions were being asked, but one notable question and answer that came to Enzo Maresca was how to keep the team going forward, and he just said the team need to keep working hard and improve in every department, not only on the team but also himself. He also need to keep improving game in, game out, and I think that was a very good response coming from Enzo Maresca going into this particular encounter. And for the team news of Chelsea going into this game, notable absentees, injuries and suspension remain almost same. Going into this game, notable absentees are Levi Colwill out injured with ACL and will miss majority of the season. Bernard Badiashile out also with injury, and possible return date is in December. And also Liam Delap, who was out, has also been out injured with hamstring injury, and he was marked to return early next year. But in one of Enzo Maresca's press conference prior to the game against Ajax in midweek, Enzo Maresca actually said Liam Delap is close to returning to training, and I think that was sort of good news and a relief for Chelsea in that striking department. So notable suspension in today's encounter against Sunderland is Malo Gusto, who actually picked a red card in the game against Nottingham Forest. Every other players, like the manager said, are available going into this particular encounter. So with the team sheet available on ground for Chelsea, going with our traditional 4-2-3-1 formation, this will be my predicted 11 going into this particular game. Check this. In goal, I go with Robert Sanchez. The fullback is Marc Cucurella and Reece James. The centre-back pairing, I will retain George Achampong and Trevor Chalobah. The midfield duo, the midfield pivot, I will go with Moses Caicedo and Enzo Fernandez. And the attacking midfield through the left wing, I will go with Pedro Neto. The central attacking midfield, that is the number 10 role, I will go with Joao Pedro. While the right wing, I will go with Gustavo Willian. Up front will be Marc, Guiu. Now, this is why I went for this particular selection. Should Chelsea line up in this particular way, should Enzo Maresca decide to come up with this particular selection? Now, the fullback, talking about Marc Cucurella and Reece James, actually picked itself because both players were given full rest in the midweek against Ajax in the UEFA Champions League. So coming into this game, both Marc Cucurella and Reece James, full of energy coming into this one. The centre-back pairing, talking about Trevor Chalobah and George Achampong. We actually saw what that pairing actually did in the game against Nottingham Forest. And even coming to the Liverpool game, we saw the presence of George Achampong at the age of 19, doing great stuff as a centre-back, even though he's a right-back player. But currently, given more time, I think George Achampong would definitely plant himself at the heart of Chelsea defense line. So going into this game, I'll retain George Achampong and Trevor Chalobah at the centre-back for Chelsea. The midfield pivot, I'll go with Enzo Fernandez and Moses Caicedo. A lot of you might say, why Moses Caicedo partnering Moses? Why Enzo Fernandez pairing Moses Caicedo in the midfield pivot, even when Cole Palmer is absent in the attacking role? Yes, I'll decide to go with Enzo Fernandez because the best pairing Chelsea have in that position currently is Moses Caicedo and Enzo Fernandez. If Cole Palmer is available in the team selection. But in absence of Cole Palmer, there is no disrespect to the team. The team have been creating chances and scoring lots of goals. In the last 4 games, Chelsea have scored 11 goals and conceded just 2 goals. The creativity has been top notch. But if we look at one player that can actually break defense in that final third, in the attacking role, I will go with Joao Pedro. Joao Pedro is one man that can actually unlock any defense line if he plays as the number 10 role in absence of Cole Palmer. I will only decide to play Joao Pedro up front as a point man if Cole Palmer is present in the field, because Cole Palmer has that ability. His flair and movement in the field, his distribution, is top notch, second to none in that particular role in Chelsea currently. So, and next in that position, I think I will go with Joao Pedro. We actually saw what happened in the game against Nottingham Forest last weekend. Enzo Fernandez actually played behind Joao Pedro, but then there was no connection, there was no link up of play from the creative department of Chelsea to actually connect with Joao Pedro up front. And Chelsea, after 30 minutes in that particular game against Nottingham Forest, had no attempts on target and no shots on goal. So not until Joao Pedro dropped deep into the box, into the midfield role, and we saw that exquisite pass that he laid over to Andre Townsend, even though Andre Santos did not actually convert that chance. But that pass was exquisite, it was sweet to see, and that is what Joao Pedro currently is good at. It might not be scoring, so it might not be on the score sheet for some couple of matches now, but then you can't take away his creative ability from him. So going into this game, I will play Joao Pedro as the number 10 man, and Pedro Neto will take the left wing, having gotten a rest at the midweek in the UEFA Champions League against Ajax. And also in the right wing, of course, the Brazilian talisman, talking about Gustavo William coming into this game. We saw what he did in the midweek against Ajax in the UEFA Champions League. I mean, that UEFA Champions League match, it was a record-breaking match for Chelsea young talent. When Marc Guiu opened the scoring for Chelsea in the 17th minute against Ajax, Marc Guiu became the youngest player to score for Chelsea in the UEFA Champions League. And his record lasted 33 minutes later when Gustavo William converted from the spot to give Chelsea, to score for Chelsea also in that particular encounter. And when Tariq George was substituted in, Tariq George came in to score a goal. So in that particular game, Gustavo William became the youngest player to score for Chelsea in the UEFA Champions League at the age of 18. Both Tariq George and Marc Guiu are both 19, but Tariq George is much younger than Marc Guiu. So we actually saw what played out that night. Chelsea had the three young players going in the UEFA Champions League game in the midweek against Ajax. So it was actually good to see in that particular game. So Gustavo William and Pedro Neto will use their pace and energy to be a thorn on the defense line of Sunderland. Not taking anything away from Sunderland, one team that have not been sitting so deep when it comes to the Premier League this season. They are also good at pressing high. But then looking at the selection Chelsea have on ground and the team Chelsea are putting up, I mean, the left back and the right back, talking about Reece James and Marc Cucurella, one player that can actually evolve when Chelsea is pressing high going forward. I think Marc Cucurella has been excellent doing that in that particular position. So going into this game is definitely going to be a tactical game of play. But where Sunderland will definitely want to miss it, is if they come all out to play against Chelsea. Then Chelsea will use the flank, talking about the position of Gustavo William and Pedro Neto, to punish Sunderland very well, because that is one strength Chelsea will have going into this game with Pedro Neto and Gustavo William. And Marc Guiu up front in this particular encounter, I mean, he has been very impressive in the last 3 games. So in my selection, I think Marc Guiu deserves to start. The more reason I will drop Joao Pedro to play the number 10 role and allow Marc Guiu to start up front. So who will make your predicted 11, or what will be your predicted 11 going into this particular encounter? Prediction. Going into this game, like I said earlier, the last time Sunderland actually got a win in Stamford Bridge in the Premier League against Chelsea was 11 years ago, 2014 April precisely. And Chelsea currently are blazing so high in confidence, dominating teams, even with dominating play even against opposition, which we would have ordinarily would have thought would give Chelsea that tough time. But going into this game, we saw what Chelsea actually played against Liverpool. I mean, one would have thought that Liverpool coming to the bridge, having lost a couple of matches before that encounter, would have whooped Chelsea very well that were struggling in the defense line. But Chelsea came into that game fully composed with the tactical play of Enzo Maresca and the flank, talking about with the fullback of Reece James and Marc Cucurella. Chelsea dominated that play, and I want to see the same tactics going into this particular game against Sunderland. I think Chelsea have every odds favoring them, and every statistics going into this game is just in favor of Chelsea. Sunderland, the Black Cat, who want to prove tough coming out. Haven't played 8 games, currently are 7th on the EPL standing with 14 points. The same point as Chelsea. They will want to come and prove a point at Stamford Bridge. But then, it's going to be a very difficult one for the Black Cats. So, I see a 3-1 victory for Chelsea. Chelsea will defeat Sunderland 3-1. And I see Joao Pedro scoring today in this particular encounter. Joao Pedro, Pedro Neto, and Marc Guiu to be on the score sheet, as Chelsea will pick all 3 points. So what will be your own prediction going into this particular encounter against Sunderland? Drop your thoughts down below. Thank you very much for watching. Please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe so that anytime I drop a video, you will be notified. Bye.